We're kicking off this week with a powerful super full moon in Taurus. This full moon is taking place on November 5th at 13 degrees 22 minutes Taurus. Now this is marking really an emotional reset. We've been going through so much emotional purging for the last few weeks, as many of the personal planets have been transiting through the sign of Scorpio, which has prompted us to want to go deep, to want to understand what has been hidden from us, why we can't move forward the way we want to, why we're emotionally holding on to trauma and different wounds that we've been carrying. This has been a time of powerful release, and now this full moon is allowing us an opportunity to really get grounded, to get in touch with our physical body, to fully house our emotions within our entire being, so that we can finally reset and move forward in a new way. Now, right before the full moon on November 4th, Mars moves out of Scorpio into the sign of Sagittarius and opposes Uranus in Gemini at 0 degrees 8 minutes. Now, this opposition will mark a moment of tension around how we bring our desires, what we really truly desire, into our reality. At the same time, there's this passionate, fiery opening around wanting to explore and courageously move forward in a new way. But with Mars opposing Uranus, it's really important that we take a moment, we breathe, and we're patient with ourselves in how we do move forward and how we bring our desires into reality. So it's really a time to just sit back, let what comes in come in, but not necessarily take action. We don't want to take the action until we've gotten through the full moon and we've actually integrated and embodied what it is that we're truly desiring, and whatever has come in around ideas and openings in how we take action. This energy is very passionate, okay? So housing it in our physical body is so important to ground it down into reality. So the day after the full moon on November 6th, Venus moves into Scorpio. Now, Venus wrapping up its cycle as it's been transiting through Libra marks a really pivotal time to understand how we have been healing in our relationships with others. I have no doubt that we've all in one way or another come to some very, very powerful breakthroughs or realizations with those that we're closest to. Relationships have healed in some way. There's been a heart opening that's been taking place. This energy is very, it's activating our heart chakra. So we may find that we have this renewed understanding of love, of how we want to show up for others. And at the same time, we've been learning boundaries. We've been learning to take care of ourselves, to show up for ourselves, so that we can have realistic and healthier expectations of how we want others to show up for us. So we've been learning this value around self, value around our relationships, how we value them, how we value others, and how we want others to value us. So as Venus moves into Scorpio, we're going to be taking an even deeper look at our relationships, having to show up in a way that is more honest, that is more deep. Superficiality does not fly in the sign of Scorpio, and Venus represents how we connect with others. So we're going to want to connect on a much deeper level. Now on November 7th, we have Uranus retrograde moving back into the sign of Taurus, where it will remain until April 2026. And this is really marking the close of a cycle, the ending of a cycle that has been going on since 2018, when Uranus originally moved into Taurus. So we, again, with the full moon in Taurus, Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, we have this earth energy activation. We're closing cycles around our self-worth, how we find value in ourselves, in our lives. What do we value and why do we value it? How do we find security? And oftentimes with Taurus, we're talking about material and financial security. So we are going for the next few months to have to be re-examining and reassessing our spending habits, our relationship to money, our finances. There's a chance that banking systems and the financial structure of how society is set up is going to come to some type of fluctuations, crises, changes, massive changes, so that we can finally close out this period where there's been any type of financial corruption, okay? So that's collectively, on a personal level, no matter what, our material security, our material values are going to have to take center stage so we can really get in touch with how we find material security. This also has to do with physical, our relationship to our physical environment, even our bodies. How do we treat our bodies? Are we feeding ourselves the right food? Are we exercising? What are we putting into our bodies? How do we feel about our health? Our health and wellness is key to a long, sustainable life. So this is all about creating material, physical wellness so that we can have a bigger, wider, more expansive future based on sustainability and long-term success. If we're not healthy, we might not survive, right? So this is about survival. The survival instinct is kicking in. What do we need to survive? What resources do we rely on? How do we ensure we have the right resources to survive? Key themes coming up. Now, another thing is Mercury, which is currently in Sagittarius, will station retrograde on November 9th, where it will start going backwards, dip back into Scorpio. This will happen until November 29th. Mercury will be retrograde. So we have this need to again lift whatever we've swept under the rug. Lift that rug, look at what's underneath, and finally clean it once and for all. We have to re-examine what's been hidden, what we haven't wanted to look at, what we haven't wanted to see, accept. So we're bringing everything that's been buried up to the surface of our awareness again, so we can finally see it, examine it, learn from it, heal it. So this is really a powerful time of reassessing how we've been showing up with people, how we've been showing up for ourselves, how we've been using and relating to money, material security. Our self-worth is coming into view. Are we worthy? Yes, we're worthy. But we have to believe that. It can't be validation from others that make us feel worthy. We have to feel worthy within ourselves. So this is a really exciting time and a really powerful time for healing and clearing, to move forward and create a bigger, more expansive future. So I wish everyone love and light over this next week. Remember to ground, take care of yourself, find anything you can that brings you more peace, and stick to that. Do it. Where you feel chaotic, ungrounded, and scattered, it's probably something you don't want to be engaging in right now. So finding grounding practices is really important. And I'll see you again in a week. Thank you.